Wow, hello there, Representative Ricks. What a treat do we have before us today?
Hello, and thank you for inviting me today. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. The International Institute is so pleased to have Representative Ricks from Colorado, and her bio is so extensive, and it does not my telling of the story will not do justice, but I have to just give a small overview of Representative Rick's fantastic history and career here in the United States. She is the first American immigrant to be elected to Colorado General Assembly and the first Liberian American to be elected to any state legislative. That right there alone is just enough to stand up and give a bow to. When she was 13 years old, she was forced to flee civil war in Liberia, and her family settled in Colorado. Representative Ricks received her undergraduate degree and an MBA from the University of Colorado, Denver. In 2023, Representative Ricks was selected to further her education at the Harvard Kennedy School for Senior Executive State and Local Government Programs. She is the chair of the House Committee on Business Affairs and Labor and is a member of the Colorado Black Caucus and Black and Women's Caucus. She is the owner and operator of a successful small mortgage brokerage business and is the founder and president of the African Chamber of Commerce, Colorado. I just really, again, want to welcome you and thank you for your service, Representative Ricks. Thank you for being and doing all that you have for all of your constituents, and particularly for women and Black people here in the United States of America.
Thank you so much, Viola. It's such a joy to be here with at the International Institute, and especially to talk about the topics that we're going to be looking at today. I think there's so much to say, and this, especially, it's very timely to be on your show.
Timely it is, and we are talking about opportunities. The focus of our conversation today is the opportunity, Africa's global impact. Often, Representative Ricks, we hear about what's wrong with Africa. We hear about the pain, the hurt, the misery, etc. Let's talk about what's right with Africa. Representative Ricks, what's right with Africa?
Man, there's it's so much that is right with Africa. I want to start about talking about our beautiful climate that we have in Africa. The natural sun, the biodiversity, whether it's desert to ocean to
Mhm.
beach. You have, the beautiful animals, the flora, the trees, um, the forest, the seafood. We talk about the people, the cultures, the different ethnic groups, the richness and diversity of the continent as a whole. The I talked about our youthful population that is there, and as we are seeing most of the rest of the world where the populations are aging, like here in Colorado, we are now in the top five when it comes for where seniors are going to be. But in Africa, the average person there is under age 30 in many of the different countries. So there are so to say that are great about Africa, and we're going to be getting in more detail about some of those untapped mineral opportunities.
Representative Ricks, you
As of
froze for a moment.
2025.
Mhm. Representative Ricks, you're frozen there for a moment. And so as you come back online, um, there's great opportunity in Africa. And it is time that we build the Africa that we deserve. That Africa that we deserve is ripe with business opportunities on the ground in manufacturing, That is one of the vital areas that the continent as a whole truly needs to develop. Representative Ricks. So not only manufacturing, but value chain production along the value chain needs to be creative opportunities. And those creative opportunities, Representative Ricks, looks like you're coming back on here.
Yes. I'm so
Here
sorry.
you are.
I'm not sure we're gonna got kicked off there or something, but yeah.
So as I was continuing, as we've had some technical difficulty. Don't know what's happening right now with the Wi-Fi. It might just be going up and down and having a mood. But I was saying that it is time that we build the Africa that we deserve, and that Africa is right for business opportunities, mining, manufacturing,
Mhm.
construction, real estate. Let's hone in to Liberia, one of my favorite countries on the west coast of Africa.
Yes.
Your home country,
Yes.
right on the sea, right on the Atlantic Sea, very close, rich connection to Maryland, to the United
Correct.
States, deep roots. Let's talk about what are the opportunities there for engagement, business development, and engagement there.
Yes, Viola, as you rightly said, Liberia has very close connections to the US. Liberia was settled by formerly enslaved people who went back in 1821 to found the country. And so the country has had over 200 years now as a republic. It's Africa's oldest republic. We boast that, we have the oldest Baptist church, oldest Methodist church, and we also have very strong historical ties between the U.S. and Liberia. But Liberia is very rich. It's about 5.5 million people, so it's a small population. We have over 360 miles of coastline. There's lots of opportunities, especially in the areas of tourism because of the beaches, because of the forest. Liberia has a large part of the Upper Guinea, tropical forest, and so we are basically just well endowed with rivers and lakes and places that are rich to be seen. We also have a youthful population that can be needs to be employed, and so you have much labor force there that can go. Business
Mhm.
development, real estate is also parts of it. Agriculture, Liberia gets the most rainfall, so it's a place where you could do lots of growing, from cocoa to coffee to just every 90-day turn products and or, oranges and citrus. I mean, there's so much opportunity. Mining, we have a lot of iron ore, we have diamonds and gold, and so many things there. So there are many opportunities in many different sectors. Right now, I know in the city of Monrovia, they're looking for more people who can do work within the waste management a
Absolutely.
part of the industry or sector. So there are so many things that, yeah.
You're so right. Our business coordinator, Philip Totier, is from Liberia, and one of the things that he has helped the International Institute do and his own company is around waste management and supporting young people in leadership development around the environment. I just want to cut straight to it. If you're not in Africa, if you don't have a foothold, you don't have a business, you're not thinking about Africa in the next 5 years, forget about it. And so we do a lot of selling of Africa. We do a lot of selling of it. We do a lot of it's secure. The investments is the right place to invest. We do a lot of that packaging, but other countries around the globe, they're not packaging that. And yet we know the very minerals that we need in order to survive globally are within the continent of Africa. Um, People who do business know this. Your business representative Ricks is the right organization to go through to get into the continent. My company is the right business to go through to get into the continent. Let's really boil this down to average Americans, average people trying to figure out what's the next step for them. People in America, as you mentioned, and in Colorado, are growing older, aging population. People have to think about, how am I going to take care of myself? What is a safe business venture that I can involve myself in, receive some residual income, and live a quality life? Let's bring that back to, what are the opportunities right now that you would urge individuals, Representative Ricks, when we're thinking about Africa, get involved with this sector right now and don't wait?
I would say get involved with the agriculture, the food security, being able to grow the fertile lands that we have there, vast lands that are untapped, so growing food, that would be something. Tourism, businesses. We've all traveled to places like the Bahamas and to Jamaica, and there are so many opportunities to attract tourism. I myself, I'm the president of the Liberian Surfing Association. Surfing, is ecotourism, and we have some of the best surfing waters in the world.
Hold
And
on a minute. I got to stop you there. Surfing happens outside of Hawaii and outside of Portugal. Surfing happens in Africa?
oh,
Really?
absolutely. Yes. In fact, we held the first international surfing tournament in Liberia last year. It was the Africa Surf Tour. We had Nigeria, Senegal. We had people from Mauritius. We had
Oh, lovely.
team South Africa were there, and it was marvelous. And this year, May 28, 29, 30, will be hosting the Africa Champion of Nations there. So we expect that maybe at least 10 countries from around Africa. The idea is to build the surfing industry in Africa so that the athletes are competing in Africa, then go on to Europe, because it's very expensive, as you might imagine, for surfers and people that don't have a lot of means to travel all the way to Europe or to the Americas to get qualified. Yeah, surfing is big and is an untapped industry, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Africa's portion of that is very small. So, that's just one example of many things. I would say, manufacturing, again, you have a labor force that's young, and, people can be innovative, and if you can do it in India, you can do it there, in, Africa. You also have the opportunity of the Africa Free Trade Agreement, which,
Yes.
if working, you should be able to start a business in Liberia and still be able to do business in Kenya, and then do it again in, Mauritius. You should be able to go across the continent freely, and that's the idea, to be able to trade. But, when we talk about Africa, I mean, if you don't have a business in Africa, or you don't have Africa in the next 5 years, because 60% of the world's growth, as far as population, is expected to be in Africa. Why? Because Africans have a high fertility rates, where you're seeing most European countries like Japan, and even Asian countries, where their birth rates are slowing down. Africa's continues to be very fertile, and so you expect to see more and more growth. By 2050, we or just let's say by 2100, we are going to double in population. Right now, we're roughly about 1.5 billion people in Africa. We would double to 3.9 billion by 2100. So
Wow.
there's so much growth that is going to happen, and the buying power will be in Africa.
I can't even imagine the year 2100.
I
I
know. But we are in 2025 already. I thought 2025 was way away, and now 2030 is like 5 years out. So yeah, we have
Yeah,
to get ready.
we have to
Wow.
get ready.
Yeah.
That would make me, in the year 2100, 125 years old. So
Love it.
love it, love it.
Yeah.
If that's a thing that happens, but in the now, I think
Mhm.
I hear so much that is available now inside of Africa, and just
Right.
recapping all of the opportunities that's available for, we're just looking at folks in the Americas who are aging, who are looking for, what's their next. They're not ready to fully, they might retire, but they might want to still be active. They might want to figure out, how do I leave a nest egg for my grandchildren? How do I create different opportunities and have residual income? And Africa Representative Ricks is the place. In so many sectors, we're hearing that. But we also really want to kind of hear more about something you mentioned that really is powerful and important and empowering, is that, should Africa be built up? Is this what I'm hearing, Representative Ricks? Correct me. Then there's opportunity in the continent. The youth would stay in the continent should there be opportunity. And the opportunity you're building around the surfing, though it is around the sports industry, it is really about creating a lifestyle for Africans within their continent, for themselves, for their
Right.
benefit. And then I heard earlier you mentioned that even with there's a lot of going on around mining and other things, but the residual is like this small comparatively to what is going out. And there needs to be a switch in that. Talk more about building Africa for Africans and Africans having more share in their own wealth generation.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that we see. The amount of capital flight and monies that are taking out of the continent is in the 50 plus billion every year that goes out of the continent, that's unaccounted for, that, untraced. And when we talk about minerals, Africa is very rich and well endowed in every mineral that we need, especially the critical minerals, that are going into the cell phones and the technology and the spaceships and all of those things. None of those can survive without the minerals that are coming out of Africa. Yet, when you look at the amount that is the value add to Africa, to those countries, there you don't see it. There's still a lot of poverty, more poverty than we need to see. So to create the Africa that we need to have people trained in these areas where they are taking over the management from anywhere from the mining contracts, overseeing what's happening in the mines, to understand and being able to really develop your own mines so that you get to keep a lion's share versus a foreign power coming in and saying, I want to mine this for you, and oh, we're going to give you 10% because we're doing all of these investments.
10%. Can you
Yes,
imagine?
yes.
I come into your home, Representative Ricks. I move myself in and say that you're allowed to only access 10% of your home.
Of your home. Yeah. And after this is something, and then your people get nothing, there's no development. And I think that our leaders just need to be smarter as far as the agreement that we're putting on the table. And that's why I'm very admiring, Burkina Faso, and hearing the fascinating,
Oh,
stories
stop.
of how
Burkina
taken
Faso.
over. Yes,
That's my
Burkina
husband
Faso.
right
That
there.
is a model.
That is my husband. We
Yes,
have
exactly. My husband too. So I think we're just gonna have to. Yes.
we're gonna have to be very African now and share. Yes. They're doing amazing work in the electric car, space,
No,
and in the agriculture
absolutely.
space.
I mean, he is our hero. He is really our
Yes.
hero, and he's a young. Yes.
So Burkina Faso is doing amazing.
Oh, okay. You
Zimbabwe.
kind of cut out a little bit,
I
and I
said
heard
Burkina
agriculture
Faso.
and electric cars or something. Or electric.
Yes, electric cars are happening in Burkina Faso.
Viola.
Zimbabwe. I'm here. Zimbabwe. Electric. There's
Yes, I
free
think.
energy cars.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, the free energy cars, all of the, different technologies and things that they're doing in, Burkina Faso. I know Rwanda's doing a lot of great technology and things like that as well. So, Africa has so much untapped potential. And when we talk about building the Africa that we want, we need to have good leadership, good governance. We need to have better education, and where we, though, are leading the charge when it comes to our healthcare, when it comes to educating our youth and our next generation who are going to be leading the continent in the next, years. We need to take charge, and there are so much work and stuff within the diaspora, because I think everything that we need as far as the expertise is here in the diaspora. People of African descent should be the ones leading the charge. And we have that expertise, we have the spending power, we have what it takes. When you look at a country like Ghana, so many people are going in and out. The infrastructure has been developed. People are building homes. They're buying condos that they can rent out for Airbnb, and all of that when it comes to real estate development. So if an aging person that is here says, well, I have retirement money, but I want to invest it so I can leave an inheritance to my children's and my children's children or generations, I would say real estate is a place. Farming is another good opportunity. If you can do some small scale mining and partner with, of course, people of integrity within the different countries, and vet, these opportunities before you get involved. But we are the ones who need to do that.
You're right, Representative Ricks. We are the ones. Uh, and and I think I love where you're going with this. Speak more about, I'm a Black American person, uh, born here, lived here, traveled Africa extensively. By the grace of God, we're thankful. Have some roots there, and but I hear oftentimes from just the average Black American. So what does that got to do with me?
Mm-hmm.
And I really want you, as a person who has lived in the United States of America, you've left your home country, you understand what war is, you've seen America at her best, you've seen days of which we haven't had our best foot forward as people, this country, etc. So for Black folks, let's tap into that. For Black folks, Black Americans who are saying, well, what does Africa have to do with me?
Yes, I've had, and I've had these conversations with people, my friends, and people I know. I remember saying African American, and even for some, blacks, is an offensive. They say, "Well, I'm American. I'm not African American because I don't understand the African roots."
Mhm.
But I've also seen that when these people just expand their horizon and travel to the continent, just on a visit, how they may change. I have one example of a person who basically was very adamant about that, perspective. And now he is like a champion for Africa, taking every couple years they make trips, taking people back to Africa. And so that is, that's all we need to do. Africa is the roots of
Mhm.
everything that we're doing. And so that's where we have to be, is enlightening and engaging in Africa and seeing what the opportunities are, because there's so many opportunities that await you. Africa is a place that's free, where you see Black leadership, you see people who are doctors and lawyers and running governments. And so it takes you out of the Eurocentric mindset into more of an African mindset, where you can feel pride in the excellence of what Black people are doing right now in their place in the earth. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the International Institute has partnered up with several other organizations, and we're looking at what will it look like to have side events at the G20 that will be happening in South Africa. And
Oh,
it would be a wonderful opportunity to engage in partnership with the African Chamber of Commerce of Colorado to
yes.
explore that, to have a side event, to bring these topics up. The focus there is around creating the Africa we deserve,
Yes.
i.e., with African heads of state, particularly first ladies and queens. Um, Oftentimes when I speak here in America and I talk to folks and they said, the Queen of England, and I said, no, there's real royalty,
Yes.
long royalty lineages of individuals. And so we're looking to gather together a host of powerful women. And you would be one of those powerful women.
I would
And
love
we're
to be a part
looking
of that. Yes.
to come together and look at what does it take to build the Africa we deserve through energy, through
Mhm.
medicine, pharmacology, through
Yes.
agriculture, big
Mhm.
ticket things that would change the trajectory of the continent so that our husband that we share in Burkina Faso
Yes.
would be proud of us that we are contributing to the development of our children. And our children is the whole of the youth of Africa and the diaspora. So as women, as mothers, this is how we carry ourselves as African women that we take for the people and for the children. Because there is something so beautiful to see the smile on someone's face and the light in their eyes, Representative Ricks, when they have a chance for their ambitions to grow, that they're able to take their small business and scale it a bit more, that they're able to take their soap that they're selling and move it from their market, to another place. And I think that is the work that we have ahead of us collectively that you are doing through your organization, creating opportunities, and the International Institute is doing. What else is top of mind for you as we are coming to a close of this conversation?
I think, as we look at the times that we're in and this new dispensation, the golden age, as we just heard, announced in the last 3 weeks of America, I think you really need to start looking at the opportunity that is there. As I look around my community and people are traumatized and going through so much right now with the systems that you've believed in, seemingly are being dismantled. I think it's important that you expand your horizon and know that there are opportunities out there for people of color, people that are Black people. And, it's time to
Representative Rick?
Africa. Those are all beautiful places. Lots of people go there for Christmas, and
Mhm.
there's so many travel. Yes.
You broke up for a minute, so I don't want the audience to miss the very important point
Oh,
that you
I
were
didn't know if
making.
you were asking a question. Sorry.
You broke up for a minute. You broke up, so your audio cut out.
So, I would say that it's time now to get that passport and expand your horizon and, go forth and explore some of the
It seems to be a bandwidth issue, Representative Ricks, that we're having with your network there. The time is now. It is time to get inspired by, involved with, and invested in Africa. We are Representative.
Viola?
I'm here. So you cut out again, and so I suggested as a wrap up to what you were saying
Yes.
that time to get inspired by, involved in, and invested in Africa now. And there's two great people
Yes.
sitting here, your organization, Representative Ricks in Colorado,
Yes.
your expansive work throughout the United States and in Liberia are great places to get started as we are coming
Now.
together. Now, it is time now to do that. I really want to thank you for your time. As a sitting member of the legislature, I know that taking 45 minutes out of your day is a huge chunk of time. And we want to thank you for coming to the table today, having this Wednesday afternoon chat. We do hope to have this conversation again, and to come up with more developments as we are moving forward with building the Africa we deserve. Representative Ricks, I just want to tell you, if no one's told you, well, I will tell you all. Um, that you are what's right with Africa. It is because of you, it is because of your commitment that makes Africa the place that is on the rise. Thank you for joining.